Hello, welcome to another day in the workshop. Now I don't know if this is being added to another video or it's starting a new one, I don't know. Anyway, in the background you can see the BRMs in the workshop. If you haven't seen the other video yet on the Metro, have a look at that. You will see that just there is the 1.8 turbo engine out of the Metro. If you've seen the other video, you'll know why it's there, but I'll just do a quick recap. The Metro is quite rotten. It was on the verge of scrapping. My welder came over, had a look, said yeah, it's doable, obviously everything's doable, but I did have a spare MGTF subframe. So he said, why don't we cut the rear end out and put a subframe in so you can put an engine in the back. At the time, that seemed a very sensible idea. But taking a running and driving car and cutting it to shreds kind of probably wasn't, but it's going to be fun. So anyway, the engine, we need an engine on the rear subframe in the back of the Metro to work out the bulkhead and the firewall. So that had to come out anyway. What I've decided is that Metro turbo, well, the turbo engine that was in the Metro from the Rover 75 has the K-Maps ECU. It has the Mac 3-port valve. It has, you know, various bits and pieces that will work in the BRM. So the engine is coming out of the BRM. That's going on the shelf and being kept, obviously, because it's original to the car. In the event I ever want to sell it or the values go silly, I can always put the VVC back in and put it back to how it was. So that's coming out, going on the shelf, and the turbo engine is going in. The only thing I need to sort is a loom, because the loom that's on it is made for a Metro. Obviously I need one that's made for a BRM 200, whatever have you. So that is what's going to happen as of now. And then what I'm going to do, once the engine's out of the BRM, I'll take the gearbox off, bolt it to the MG6 engine, turbo engine that I've got, and put that in the back of the Metro, so then the fabrication can continue. So for now, I've taken the Metro out, put it in the shed, and come back to it when I can. So, enough waffle. Let's get the engine out the BRM. Obviously, I've got to strip it down a bit, take the front bumper off, probably take the bonnet off, maybe, because then I've got to store it somewhere, so maybe I won't. But I'll take the bumper off. I will pull both subframes off, because that's got two separate subframes, one right at the front, one behind the front wheels. So I'll take both of them off, and then the engine will come out the bottom. So we will get on with that. Right, so just a quick check into where we are. As you can see, the front panel, or sorry, the front bumper and the front crash bar is off. Well, I say crash bar. It's more of a bumper support as opposed to a crash bar. The front subframe is off, the very front one, down there. The lower arms are out. Anti-roll bars disconnected so you can get them down easier. Bottom ball joints split. Hub nuts are off. I'm probably going to try and leave the rear subframe in. I can't remember whether I had to remove them in the last couple that I've done. My memory's atrocious, but I think I might just clear it, and that means it saves me disconnecting steering and brakes and God knows what else. So I will see if it will lower as it is. Obviously I'll pull the radiator out so it's got a bit of room to go forwards. The exhaust, well, the cat's off. I've got to undo the lower stability mount and the gear selector rods. Obviously I pop the drive shafts out the hubs, and that can come down with the gearbox. I haven't got to actually physically take them out the box. They will come past. So next job is gear selector rods, the stability mount, and then we'll go up top and start stripping bits off up there. A quick catch up. Batteries out, airbox is out, rad and fans are out. Something I hadn't realised was a nice brand new radiator, so that'll be all right. Put that back in. So next is power steering pump. I've got to undo the lines from there. Now I have thought about taking the pump off the engine and leaving it all in situ, so I haven't got to lose the fluid. But I think I'm going to take the pipes off, lose the fluid, and then because I've got to put obviously the power steering pump back on that turbo engine, so it'll probably make life a bit easier. And then yeah, we just got wiring, cables and hoses. So I'll come back shortly when I've got a bit further along. Right, well, both side by side, we've got to change the mounts. So obviously we've got to take the engine mount off here and the bracket on the side and swap it for this one, because that's needed. And then we've got to do the same with the gearbox. So we've got to take that one off the end of the gearbox and swap it for the Metro one. And then I've just messaged the guy about the looms, so we'll see what happens with that. I'll report back when I hear from him. Right, made a fair bit of progress. Whipped the elbow, coolant elbow off the VVC and put it on the turbo, because the turbo only has one coolant temp sensor, whereas we need two. Change the hoses over on the rear. The rear metal water pipe needed changing because it has an extra outlet on the VVC, and obviously that then goes off to the BRM header tank, so let's swap that over. We've changed the top coolant hose, the return that goes back, so it goes on the back of the head, goes on the main coolant line, and then this goes back to the header tank. What else have we changed? Oh, we fitted the power steering bracket and pump. I think that's about it. I've still got to do the speed sensor off the gearbox, and a couple of other bits and pieces, but it's the loom now I'm waiting on. I need the loom to know exactly what I've got to do else. So I think I might put this back in, or say put it in the BRM, and then when the other loom turns up, I can then unplug each sensor and plug it in as I go, so I know what I've got. So I'll probably do that, I reckon. And then that can just go on the shelf. Obviously I've got to put the shafts in as well, take them out and put them in the turbo engine. But yeah, not a bad day. Didn't feel much of it because it was mainly me just crouching in front of an engine, undoing hoses and moving bits about. So right, now to get it back in the car. Right, well, everything is swapped over on the engine. I've taken the loom off the VVC engine and sent that off. Dropped it off the post office a little while ago because he needs that for the car plugs. And he's going to make me up a turbo loom to go on here. Now, as I say, I've left the Metro turbo loom on here for now. And then once this is back in the car, I can swap everything over when it turns up. So this afternoon, the turbo engine will be in the BRM. Okay, well, it's in. We've connected all the matrix hoses up, fuel lines up, clutch cable, throttle cable. Power steering's all done. Header tank's all in. It's just a matter of now waiting for the loom. Obviously, I only sent the loom today, so it's going to be a little while. But tomorrow, I'll probably label the loom and pull it off, so it's out of the way. And then I can obviously lay it out, match the new loom when it comes, label it up, put it in. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because trying to get one loom in while another one's coming out, I think it's going to be a nightmare. So I think now it's all in situ, I will, as I say, label it all up and pull it out. And then we need to get the rad in tomorrow and start mocking up an intercooler, see what we can find and what we can get behind the bumper. So I will come back to you tomorrow. Right, well, this is going to be awkward. I thought I'd have loads of room in here compared to the Metro. Turns out I haven't. Now, in its proper position, the rad is touching the turbo. So I'm going to have to angle it back a bit and try and get it out here behind the bonnet stay. I don't know whether a T-series rad will fit because they're a bit shallower and they fit actually under the slam panel on a R8. So I'll have to see whether they fit in here or I have to angle the rad back a touch. It does mean I won't get the fan in there as well because it sits on this side. I don't know whether I'll be able to sit it over this side. I probably will. I've got a selection of intercoolers out as well, but they're all slightly too big, so I'll have to cut this section out if I'm going to use either of those. So, but I need to get the rad in place first because obviously that's most important. So, looking at other Rover models in the catalogues, the MGZR turbo diesel rad looks like it could fit. So the nice guys at MPD got this in for me to try, so I haven't actually paid for it yet because I'm just seeing whether it fits. If it doesn't, they're going to take it back as long as I don't do any damage. Bungs and clips and bits. It's Christmas Eve. I've just been for breakfast with the family, so I've just popped up here, hence the outfit. Not really work clothes. Don't quite know where it's supposed to go. No. No, that's no good either. Right, as I'm still waiting on the loom and trying to find a radiator that will fit, I'm going to get it off the ramp so I can use the ramp. Obviously it's been on here all over Christmas and it's now getting into the second week of January. I'm still waiting on the loom bit, so I'm going to put the subframe back on, put the wheels back on, and then just get it outside for now so I can use the ramp. So I'll get on with that. Right, so I've got the BRM back on the ramp, which only means one thing: we're going to crack on with it. And we've received delivery, finally. It's only taken a month, but obviously we've had Christmas to say. So I'm hoping it's not some kind of surprise sex toy or something. No. The loom. Hallelujah. Right. Still my old loom, look, because it's got my tabs on it, which is good. Because previously when I had one done, he used a different loom. So actually when I got it back, I didn't have a clue what was what. So, there we go. Excellent. So thanks to Mike, we will now get it matched up with the other one, see what's what, make sure we know what label is what, and then I'll start putting it on the engine. Right, it's all labelled up as best I can, from the old labels and the new labels matching up with the other one. So we'll just have to see where we go when we get it in. So, let's get it fitted.